Hey guys, what's up? Welcome back here to another edition of The Fishing Teacher, and thanks a lot for watching the video today. Always grateful for that. And guys, today we're going to be talking about one of my all-time favorite lures, which is the old wiggle wart here. This thing has been catching fish for dang 50 years, close to it, and it's got a window of time that it works in colder water conditions. So we're going to go over that today specifically. I'm going to give you some tips and advice on water temperatures, conditions, how to fish it. I think it's going to add up to some really good fish for you guys between now and March. Also, guys, before we get started, I just want to remind everybody out there, anybody interested in booking an on-the-water lesson with me, you can do that by going to my Facebook page, Randy Blockett Professional Angler, and shoot me a private message. And we're getting a lot of different wintertime jerkbait lessons, trips lined out. So if you're interested, shoot me a private message there. Okay, guys, being from the Ozarks like I am, this is sort of where this became famous at, like a lot of different techniques in fishing, is just the old storm wiggle wart. This thing has been around forever. There's been a lot of different companies try to copy this bait, but nobody has really, done a very good job at it. But the thing that makes a wiggle wart unique is the extreme wide wobble that it has. Now, what has happened, if you guys are in the know and fishing a little bit, if you don't know anything about this, let me explain a little bit. Years ago, up until about 25 years ago, the mold was different on this thing. And the old wiggle warts had a real wide wobble, just a real wide side-to-side wobble. And they did something with the mold or they got rid of it. And now it's really cut down the action on it. And the new ones aren't near as effective as the old ones. So I've got quite a few old wiggle warts here that I've gotten, from old tackle stores and, flea markets and stuff like that seem to work better. But you can still catch them on the new ones, don't get me wrong. But here's an example. It's like, say for example, if you and I go fishing and you buy some new wiggle warts and I've got some old ones. I may catch, 10 fish on the old wiggle wart, and you may catch 5 or 6, maybe 7 on the new one out there. They'll still bite them, but it just seems like they don't bite them as good most of the time. Now, there is some conditions. I had a friend of mine that we went fishing down at Grand Lake about 3 or 4 years ago during February, and I had all my old wiggle warts, and I was fishing them out there and catching a few, but not that good. And he spanked me out of the back of the boat. He went to a Walmart and just bought some new wiggle warts right at Walmart, the ones that I talked about that had the tighter wobble. And he caught more fish than I did. So a lot of it just depends on the mood and personality of the fish. But one of the things about this, guys, people think that the wiggle wart, a lot of misconceptions about it, is that it's for the pre-spawn. Like it starts working, it's February, March, and April during the early spring. And that is probably the best time to use it. But actually now is the time when you want to start using it. People started using the wiggle wart earlier in the year, like in the fall time of the year, 5 or 6 years ago, and it has become almost as good under certain conditions as during the pre-spawn. So anytime those water temperatures start to fall down below 60 degrees, like this time of year, November, December, like that, it's time to pull out a wiggle wart and fish it. Now, the places you want to look for with a wiggle wart are rocky banks. It's not a bait that comes through wood very good, gets hung up pretty easy, but it comes through rock really good. So my favorite areas, guys, is just fishing whatever rock the lake you has on it. If you have a lake, say for example, like Lake Eufaula in Alabama that doesn't have a lot of rocky banks, you can crank rocky riprap. If you have a lot of rocky banks, like in my part of the country in the Ozarks, you can fish a wide variety of rock. You can fish bluffs, you can fish big rock, pea gravel, whatever like that. But for the most time, since this is a crawdad imitating lure, you want this thing rooting down in the rocks. In the type of rocks, ideally, that a crawdad would get in. If you guys have hunted crawdads very much, just wading them along the bank, you know sort of the type of rocks that the crawdads like to get under. They like to get under the bigger rocks. Most of them are a little bit flatter. They're not the big boulder type rocks, but they like to get under those larger rocks that have some type of a gap underneath them. So my ideal scenario for a wiggle wart is an area that's got a lot of different variation in rock. I want some rock maybe fist size, some basketball size rock, and some variations in like flat rock and unusual, angles to them like that. Places crawdads live in, that's the main thing. The other thing about it is in the retrieve this time of year with a wiggle wart, this is when you want to use a really slow retrieve. So a slow retrieve Works really good with this technique. I don't use anything over like a medium retrieve with it. You want it just fighting down there, just sort of bouncing over those rocks like that. So anyway, guys, just a quick video on that. I will put my Tackle Warehouse link in the description to the wiggle wart section. If you guys want to get you some out there, get you a couple different colors, using that link's a good way to help the channel. And the colors I would recommend for you guys would be some type of a translucent crawdad like this. This looks really good like in clear water. And then you want to get you some type of a flatter crawdad, something that's not translucent like this. This works a little bit better like on a cloudy day. And then if you have an area that has some dirtier water in it, get some type of a chartreuse. This is actually a rock crawler, and I'll put that Tackle Warehouse link in the description for the rock crawlers, because the rock crawlers, a lot of people have replaced the wiggle wart with the rock crawler. It works very similar to a wiggle wart. So you might want to try some of those rock crawlers too. Okay, guys, anyway, just give them a try. If you guys are not wiggle wart fans, they are a great cold water bait, one of my favorites out there. And I think it's going to help you guys get some action this winter. So check in later. See it.